Zelos has just launched an unusual version of the Skyraider, and I say unusual because of that movement. It's a Marvin 700, and for anyone who's old enough to know that movement, it's from the 1960s, and it was a victim of the quartz crisis. Now, the architecture of this watch is actually beautiful, and this particular one here has been heavily reworked and skeletonized. I'm not a fan of skeletonized watches, I never have been, and I think I'm the perfect candidate to actually review a watch like this because of that reason. I want to actually get hands on and have a look at it. The architecture is quite nice, I think the layout is good, but my question is, how does this movement stand up to the scrutiny of my professional macro lenses, especially when I get up really close and personal? Let's find out. The key criteria for a pilot's watch is a good, clean, legible dial. And with a skeletonized dial, you can throw that out the door straight away. And I think we've come to accept form over function from many brands over the years, so there's that done. But for many who will be buying a watch like this, I suspect you're getting it because of the cool factor. And also with its hardened titanium case and bracelet, it's built like an army tank. This thing here is strong. The watch is extremely good in some areas, but it's also lacking in some other areas which I want to share with you guys today in this review. Now, Zelos has sponsored this video, so I will leave the appropriate links in the description section of this video if you're keen on this watch. And from what I see on their website, as with all their launches, there's a countdown timer. So there's always a mad rush as that counter approaches 0. However, I suspect that with these models, the watch might potentially be live on their website a little bit longer than previous models I've reviewed from Zelos. And I say this because this is not an inexpensive watch. They start at $1,749 all the way up to $2,499, so that is something to consider. But moving on, I did mention the movement of this watch is a Marvin 700. It's been skeletonized, it's hand wound, it's very slim and very nice architecture. It's been heavily reworked. There's a black rhodium treatment which is applied to the movement for contrast. Also, a little bit of intricate guilloche is applied to its rear. Now, thanks to this hand wound movement being so thin, the watch only comes in at 9.9mm. And looking at the specs of the watch, coming in at 40mm with a 46.8mm lug to lug, the wearing experience is a no-brainer. The crown comes in at 6.4mm at its widest point and tapers inward to the case. It's a push-pull crown, the watch offers 50 meters of water resistance, and the total weight on the bracelet sized to my 18cm wrist, I measure exactly 82 grams. And 82 grams on the bracelet is a featherweight. As you can see, the comfort is superb. It's really thin on the wrist. I love that taper on that bracelet. Super comfortable with that clasp. I think what they've done with that classic taper of 20mm all the way to 15.9, it's petite, and yet I think this watch is designed for the bigger man. Because with this bracelet, I've actually had to remove 7 links to size it up to my 18cm wrist. So there's an extra 1.6 inches in length, or around 41mm extra on this bracelet. And the reason I said this watch is designed for a bigger wrist, even though it's a 40mm case diameter, well, it's because of this. If you look at the way that bracelet drops, it doesn't close any more than that. So the minimum internal distance on that bracelet is 53mm. Now you could easily remove that bracelet with its quick release end links and put a strap of your own on this. So that's a no-brainer. That bracelet is absolutely superb. That on-the-fly adjustment clasp is designed beautifully. The comfort has been absolutely superb, but just be aware the minimum internal distance is 53, so measure your wrist before sourcing this watch with its bracelet. There are of course other versions with straps. All that said, turning my attention to the lume of this watch, it's got super luminova, it's liberally applied to the handset, the 12369 markers, and it's etched into the dial. And I've got to tell you guys, this was a complete surprise to me, because I woke up at 5:30 in the morning and I had this watch lying on my side desk, and not the fact that it was still glowing, but it's probably one of the most easiest watches I've ever had to read in the dark, because of its lume layout. The simple 4 markers at 12, 3, 6 and 9 were glowing, the solid handsets were glowing. I could tell straight away it was 5:35 in the morning. So in that department, I'm really impressed with what they've done with this watch. Another big plus that I did find with this watch, the case and bracelet titanium, but they're also hardened. There's a 1200 Vickers hardening on this watch, and wearing this all week, I can't find any marks anywhere. Lastly, looking at the crystal of this watch, it's a box dome sapphire, and the view through that front sapphire or even that back sapphire is exceptional. Now, all that said, what are my gripes or room for improvement of this watch? Well, first thing I want to touch on is the winding. Be careful when you reach the end of the winding cycle of this movement, because I heard a snap and I wasn't winding the watch very hard. Now, no damage was done to this watch, but it was a surprise to me that it was that audible. And I've got plenty of hand wound movements, ETA based, Solitas, what have you, and they usually let you know when you're reaching the end of that winding range by getting a little bit firmer to the feel. But this one surprised me, so keep that in mind. My second gripe, of course, is that minimum internal distance. So if you're looking for this watch, bear in mind the braceleted version. If the width of your wrist is not 53mm or larger, this watch probably won't sit well on your wrist. Thirdly, I did mention how does this watch stack up under my macro lenses, and I did notice an occasional dust mark here and there on that movement. But we're talking very small and extreme macro. I've looked at this watch with the naked eye and even with glasses on, and it's impossible to view any of those dust marks. So I'm really pulling at straws here, but I am mentioning it for you guys nonetheless. Next for me is the legibility as a pilot's watch. Well, I've already mentioned that, but there is no hacking in this movement. So when you pull the crown out to the first position, as you can see, that second hand still keeps moving. So you really can't set an accurate time. Wherever it is, you might set the watch up, that second hand is still sweeping. Also, I've always had a gripe with limited edition watches or a limited release, and this falls in that category. As soon as that counter drops to zero and the watches sell out from their website, if someone's watching this video 1 or 2 weeks down the track and goes, oh, I like this watch, I want to source it, well, potentially it could be sold out. And my last gripe for this watch is that price, $17.49 to around $24.99, depending on the version, the tantalum or titanium. That's not a cheap watch. That's pretty expensive. But whatever the case, for a guy who does not like skeletonized watches, and that's me, this has been a superb build, 82 grams of extreme comfort, especially with that wonderfully designed clasp. As long as your wrist size fits the criteria like I mentioned, the Lume has been brilliant. Its application as well as its layout, a totally unexpected surprise for me. So a very cool offering from Zelos, different, not without its flaws as I mentioned, but in the area of making a really well-built, solid offering, I think Zelos always seems to hit the mark, especially with the watches that I've handled. So if you've made it this far in the video, I want to say a huge thank you for watching. Be well, be at peace, enjoy the rest of your day or evening, whichever part of the world you're in, and we'll see you in the next one.